Hello and welcome to creatingforgrace.com. Today we're going to make this Missing You card using the Eclectic stamp set, and it has a coordinating bundle of framelits with the called Eclectic layers. So the portions that we used were the leaf framelit and then also the flower framelit here, and this portion of the framelit to create the background. So those are the three that we used. And I always tell people, remember to make your envelope pretty. So I did do some stamping off, but the two colors that I used were Cajun Craze and Early Espresso, and I'll actually show you on the envelope what I did. With the Early Espresso on the leaves, I stamped off once and then stamped again with the outline image. So it's these two. I stamped off with this one and then went back over it with the Early Espresso Dark. That gives you that dark layer in the center there. For the flower in the Cajun Craze, these are the two that I used. I stamped off twice with this and then stamped directly onto the paper with the third time, and then used the Early Espresso with the outline in the full color. And I'll show you that. The sentiment we did was Missing You, which is done here in the Cajun Craze. And then I just did some pearl accents. So let's get started. I'm going to set this aside. I've pre-done a lot of the work, so you don't have to sit through all the portions that we did. It's an A2 card size. It is 5.5 by 8.5. It is scored and folded at 4 1/4. The second Early Espresso layer is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then the third inner layer of the Cajun Craze is 4 inches by, that would be 5 1/4 inches, and then this is just a 1/4 inch down from that all the way around. So I laid the framelit down on that paper and then did that die cut, and then I added some dimensionals all the way around the back so that you would have that kind of view through that window. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the adhesive. And then what we did is I pre-did 3 of the flowers, and I've already die cut them. And I'll show you how I layered those. And other than the die cutting, this is really a quick and easy card. One of the color challenges from the Creative Cat crew that we did here recently. So I'm going to lay that right there. These are our 3 flowers. So if you have one just about there, and then you're going to have one just about here, and then you're going to pop up your center one about there. And so I've added adhesive to the back of those, so we know pretty much where our placement is going to be. I'm going to go ahead and attach those down. And then the third one. And it's really good not to overthink all of this stuff. It could drive you a little crazy if you're a perfectionist. You just want to lay it out there and have it look pretty. So I'm going to take a little bit of our liquid glue, which if you've been watching any of the video tutorials, I have actually fallen in love with lately. And I'm going to tuck an edge underneath here. And I'm going to leave the leaves free, but the end is tucked down. So it's secure, it's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to do the same thing with the other leaf here, just adding some glue along the stem. And I'm going to use that to slide right up into that space there. Again, leaving the leaves free, but the stem is going to be attached down. We're going to take a little bit of our snail adhesive right here. I'm going to add it to the back of the sentiment. So we've stamped it in Cajun Craze. It's on Whisper White cardstock, and I just went small enough to have the sentiment and then used about a 1/4 inch width for the early espresso, and just wanted that to be enough to give it a little pop without being the main focal point. And the final element that we have is our pearls, and I added one to the center of each flower because I really thought this needed something to brighten it up. And it's very hard to just say that something doesn't need a little sparkle. So that's it. And then I did promise to show you the stamping off technique. So I just hit the camera. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to make you seasick. So this is our foam pad. Anytime that you're stamping, you actually get a really good image, particularly if you're using photopolymer. These happen to be rubber stamps, but still important. So I'm going to open up both of the ink pads that we have. I'm going to start with the full flower in the Cajun Craze. And that's the one that I said we stamped off once, twice, and then stamped to the paper, like that. And then I took a full outline in Early Espresso. This is the outline of the flower, and they do match up. So you can get that centered pretty closely. You are good to go. So that's all that stamping off is. It's removing some ink from the stamp pad, leaving enough to get the effect that you want. So I'm going to set that aside, and we'll show you the finished card and pretty envelope, which is high on my priority list. I always say make your envelopes pretty. It just takes a second. Have them sitting next to you in your workspace, and that's it. If you have any questions, it's creatingforgrace.com, and you can email me, and that's it. Happy creating. Have a wonderful day.